Inspiring Innovator today. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining. We have a very exciting agenda, an amount of use cases we wanted to share with you about, how we bring the next collaboration of tomorrow. So literally, what I wanted to do is introduce our speaker today. So I have with me Kapil Chabra, physically in the virtual studio, founder of Silver Wings.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here.
And we also have behind us, how are you doing, Olaf?
I'm absolutely fine, Marvin. Thank you.
Excellent. So we guys are going to take you through a journey today. A journey basically of new tool that allows for new collaboration. Do share your question with us because we are going to go through an amount of use cases and some of them are going to amaze you, right? And that's really our goal today, to show you how we can use the right technology for the right purpose. So please ask the question, put them in the chat, put them in the Q&A because we will answer them live. Okay, so you can share result now, Ellen. Perfect. And indeed, as we expected, 73% of you think it's going to be a mix. So today with Olaf, actually, and Kapil, we are in the virtual studio, which is part of our new workplace, right? We don't need the beautiful plant. We can just make them appear virtually to you guys. Okay, thank you very much. If we can get the products and we'll get started. Before I share with you the agenda, one thing I wanted to cover. Yes, the collaboration of tomorrow is not new. We need to adapt to a new reality. And that's what we've done with partner with Silver Wings, but SAP ourselves, with our customer, we had to adapt. Think about all the team A, team B that were created, people that couldn't actually work together. And today you can use, and you can see from those photos, telepresence robots to bring someone physically that is staying in his home. So that's literally what we had to do. When you talk about collaboration, we all used to have those amazing design thinking sessions where you can see people face to face. Today, you have to bring that into tools like Mural, for example, to allow for ideation to still happen. And again, that's what we've done during a couple of months now since COVID started. So basically, what are we talking about? And I always try to share that to a customer when we exchange with them. It's all about the wow effect. And what we try to allow is use the right technology like we do today, try to do something different to interact with people and to connect with them virtually. So the interaction bit is pretty important. And you will see as well later on, how do you make sure that the audience, you guys that are watching us, are participating, are part of the event itself. So we have different ways to bring interaction into the flow as well. And last but not least, collaboration. So you will see a few different ways we can bring that collaboration, live virtually to people, and we're very excited about that. One key aspect of what I wanted to mention is the reason why I have Silver Wings with me today is because you all know that from SAP perspective, it's very important for us to bring the right data to the right people, be it an employee, be it a customer, being you in your normal life. But then comes the matter of the right platform, the right hardware. And you'll be seeing a few examples shared by Olaf and Kapil today, and that's actually going to bring this to a reality. So enough about some introduction on my side. What I'd like to hear from you, Olaf, is a bit more about Silver Wings. Can you tell us more, please?
Sure, Marvin. Thank you very much. At Silver Wings, we're all about 3D visualization. We believe that 3D visualization is an important part of digital transformation. And as you are aware, digital transformation processes are speeding up in companies at the moment. What we do is we create customized solutions in terms of 3D visualization for our clients, mainly medium to large-sized companies. We work a lot of different technologies like virtual reality, mixed reality, augmented reality, holographics, simulated reality, and so on. In this presentation, we hope to be able to showcase a couple of these technologies to you. Again, I want to highlight, it is not about the technology, it is not about the hardware. These are just facilitators to be able to bring a good solution to our clients.
Cool, excellent. Thank you very much. Kapil, maybe something to add?
Yeah, I think I just feel, every company is looking for a digital journey. And I just feel, I must introduce, the side is always there, but I just feel that everyone should think from a digital twin idea, if they can look at, how to go ahead with this digital journey. So in a digital twin, I would like to explain that, the idea is that you actually make a replica of the real world. And when you do that, I mean, example can be, you can make a digital replica of a ship, or it could be a house, or it could be a manufacturing plant. The idea is when you're able to make a digital twin of that, then you can actually start looking at it. What can I use it for? And so it begins maybe with a small journey like making a 3D model. Then you can start making it more dynamic. So maybe you can start simulating it. You can use it for your design. You can use it for your maybe for a quality control. You can use it for your operation, just to check what exactly you require in your digital journey. And you can actually and you can carry on with that journey, so that you can actually see how you're progressing in your digital journey. So I just feel this is so important that you can get a full a holistic view that how to approach this journey. So I just feel everyone should keep in mind the idea of digital twin. It really makes a huge sense. It gives them a much more, I would say, to that extent, that for your entire life cycle, this digital twin is going to give you a big value later on.
I think we've all seen the movie Minority Report with Tom Cruise when he's in front of his control center, and everybody at this time was like, "Wow, when are we going to be able to do this?" Actually, we are not that far.
Yeah.
And thank you for this, Kapil. So how we're gonna split that session to provide you some value is to actually cover 4 main pillars. We're going to talk about collaboration tool of tomorrow from a perspective of an employees and a customers, right? How does that help employees getting more value or doing their work more efficiently? How does that help a customer connect with your brand in a better way so that you can capture more revenue as well? So that's the first most important pillar, which is really around business outcomes. The 3 others, who are nonetheless also very important, we're going to talk about your private life. How do you bring people together? How do you help people being onboarded, be it in the process, but also being into their everyday life. And last but not least, we'll talk a little bit about some amazing hardware that make those things a possibility. We'll have the time to show you quickly the last 5 minutes, the backstage of this room, as well as the experience center, so that you can decide and we can decide together what will be the next step for us to welcome you physically. But let's not forget, it's all about the hybrid world. Okay.
Yeah. So let me just show you a small demo, around augmented reality. As we clearly know that, Apple as well as Google is really pushing, the augmented reality boundaries. And now just with your tablet or with your phone, you can actually see the design, you can really collaborate very easily. You can place that model right there in front of you. And once you have that, you can actually see what all changes you want to be, you want them to be done. And then, you can also do many more things, once you have that model with you. Let's say, you can see the simulation on the top of it. So it just becomes a great collaborative tool, and I mean, you always had the design, but you didn't know how to use it for marketing. But this is, I think, one of the best ways to use augmented reality. Everybody has a phone, everybody has a tablet. So it just makes the digital journey much more easy.
You're right. You're right, actually, Kapil. And moving on into what you just said with the iPad, everybody nowadays, have their iPhone, in their pockets. And it's literally, when you think about an employee, the 2 main questions that comes back from everybody is, how do I make my work, in a more safety manner, and how am I being more efficient while I'm doing this work? And what you're seeing here, pushing into the, I would say the potential of the technology, is literally combining 5G with augmented reality in construction to help you define, based on the plan that was made, where specific tube or specific pump need to be going, so that you can see that live walking around in the space and even operate them. So once the building is being done, where is the gas and the water pump and pipeline? All of this will be directly connected to your digital twin. So indeed, making sure that you can do your work more efficiently, but also in a safety manner, I will say.
Yeah, so these are examples of augmented reality. I would like to introduce the concept of mixed reality. So the example that Marvin was just showing is using the phone to put augmented information inside the real world, which is very interesting and has a lot of use cases. The problem is if you hold your phone in your hand, you can't work because you need your hands to work. The HoloLens of Microsoft is a mixed reality device. It basically works, you put on glasses, the glasses are transparent, and you can still see the real world, and then we can put additional information in there. It's similar to augmented reality, but you have both your hands still available. This is the example of a lift maintenance engineer who needs to go to a job, and he needs to prepare for the job. So he puts on his HoloLens, and then he sees the lift that he actually needs to fix in front of him on his desk. He can interact with it. He can pull up the maintenance history of the lift. He can pull up all kinds of technical specifications. He can even be trained in this scenario. So it's not only for operations, it can also be used for training possibilities. Then he goes to the job site, and again, he brings his HoloLens, he puts on his HoloLens, and once he puts on his HoloLens, he can interact with all the information regarding that lift. So all the, in this case, the maintenance history is provided there. He goes inside the lift, and then he needs to operate the equipment. The HoloLens can actually give guidance how to operate the equipment, can exactly say, you know, which buttons to press, which screws to unscrew, etc., etc. So there's a lot of information there, and again, he has both his hands available. And then the last feature I'd like to highlight is the fact that expert operator cooperation. So a lot of companies deal with the problem that they have a limited number of true experts who know everything about the equipment. A lot of operators that know a lot, but not always have the expertise to really fix the high-level problems. HoloLens provides the opportunity to do a real-life call with an expert on the other side of the world, and the expert can see exactly what this maintenance operator is seeing. And at the same time, she can interact with him and draw in his real world. So she can point out exactly to him where to operate. Next. Another, again, it's not about the hardware, but the hardware is so interesting, and it offers us so many opportunities. This is what we call simulated reality. Next. It is a device, it looks like a TV screen, and we actually have one in the SAP Experience Center, and you're more than welcome to come over to the Experience Center and to really try it out yourself. If you go in front of this screen, it will recognize that there is a person there. You do not need to wear any 3D goggles or anything, but you will see everything on the screen in 3D. It's not a flat screen anymore. You can really see depth. And with that depth, you can also interact. You can pick up objects. You can move them around. This is an amazing tool, for example, for designers that want to collaborate across the world from different locations. They can interact using these kinds of tools and actually see the depth in the designs that they created. It's really, it offers amazing opportunities. Next.
Thanks, thanks Ola for this. I guess, you know, what I found really interesting is that, you know, the capacity and the outcome delivered by this. And also from our perspective, the way we work, you know, when we think about the digital worker, when you think about all the different assets that they have to maintain, being able to send through sensors data where the tool itself, the equipment will say, I may have an issue, send that issue to the digital twin. And in the control center, being able to connect directly with the data coming from the edge of the equipment and provide the maintenance that is needed and the supplier that you need to actually connect with to fix it is where, as well from SAP perspective, we see a lot of potential because you can really multiply all of the operation maintenance you can do without having to multiply people on the ground. So it's really about, you know, bringing this the best of both worlds together. So thanks a lot for this. Actually, what I wanted to show you this is really the application of that. So today, you know, if you bring that into an iPad, you know, we can create directly with recognition the different elements of an equipment. So here we're seeing a valve, a pump that you can split. You can understand if there's something wrong. The system with the machine learning will tell you, hey, in the past, the valve, you know, it was the valve pressure or the valve ring that 80% of the time, you know, will go down. So the best supplier to actually purchase this is this supplier. It will be delivered this time. This is what we talk about utilizing the right platform to deliver intelligent enterprise, which means the equipment themselves will know how to fix themselves and send that information in the best way possible, the best digital twin, which could be an iPad, which could be a 3D simulated reality, which could be an iPhone, which could be an HoloLens. And that's literally the type of collaboration today that we integrate as part of the business flow to help employees literally make their job in the most efficient way, I would say.
Yeah, let me take you to a retail now. I think everyone is finding, retail is especially struggling. People are not able to visit, let's say, mall. So when I introduced the idea of digital twin, I think imagine, you're actually replicating the mall and you're actually getting immersed in a world where you can actually go shopping, in a virtual way, and somebody's there to welcome you, and then you can walk around anywhere, and then maybe you can actually look around at what are the promotions around there. You can actually see the 3D objects, right there. You can actually see the product. Maybe I think you can also use augmented reality to place your objects right in front of you just to check the size. And then if you want to buy it, Marvin, you can actually go ahead and buy it. So that's the new world which is emerging, and I'm sure it's going to be great for customer because a lot of people are still not able to go to the real shopping malls.
Now, I agree with this, right? So as we're moving into the experience that an employee can have down to the customers, this is one of the important aspects that we are seeing today, right? It's, again, delivering those augmented reality capabilities straight to a customer. And what we're seeing here is a classic example, again, of that digitalization happening for a customer themselves. So here, imagine you can connect with an app and basically pop up any type of shelf based on the grocery that you like, based on your previous purchase, and literally go with a lifestyle selection. So in the online, on the hybrids, on the brick and mortar shop, nobody knows, if you need to eat healthy, if you need to have, if you have special allergy, for example. In here, you can have a personalized experience and make sure that you optimize the inventory management on the retailer space. So combining data monetization, here what you can do is delivering that information to your suppliers and tell them, for example, hey, it's great that you sold, X amount of beverage can last month. However, based on the research and the data analytics we have on that experience, which is delivered to the customer, you may have missed out on 50% of those sales because of the way your product is priced, probably because of the quality. But all of that non-operational data becomes available for you to deliver to your supplier. So it's a win-win-win situation, basically, where we have both the retailer, supplier, and customer having a better experience, and the collaboration happening in the back end without really you realizing it. And that's the beauty of it. And the next, the next video we have here as well is one example of this use case with one of our customers, Valora, as well, which is integrated barcodes and analytics of that barcode into their system to combine what we call operation data with experience data. So if you were to scan a particular tool, whether it's on the application itself or physically on the shop, basically you will send a lot of information about what do you like about this product or why you took it out of your basket. And again, that's really elevating the information that we have all accessible today and deliver better customer experience altogether. So that's all I wanted to cover on the customer side as well. Next into our journey, what I'd like to discuss a little bit is now that we've seen a few examples of customers and employees benefiting from this collaboration and from this platform, why don't we have a little bit of fun and take a step together in the future? And when I say in the future, I mean obviously something that's happening now, but it's all about industrializing those use cases, make them more available. But I can tell you, having tried them myself here in the center, they are available. So today, we'll show you a few videos of those examples. But by all means, if you have the opportunity to come in Singapore Experience Center, please come and experience that because it is pretty awesome. So there you go. First stop here.
Yeah. Yeah.
A virtual expo. Yeah, maybe you remember a long time ago we had these events, expos, and people would come from all over the world. They would come together and they would meet their suppliers and their customers, and they would interact with their peers, their competitors. And yeah, that was a long time ago. Now the world has changed. But what we have created is a platform that comes really close to that real physical experience. So all these traditional Zoom calls are nice ways to interact, but actually something is missing. And we feel we need to bring that closer to the real world. And 3D visualization is a big part, it's a big element there. What we have created is an expo platform where you can actually roam around in 3D, see all the different booths, interact with all the information there, ask for brochures at booths that you find interesting, at companies that you find interesting to interact with, exchange business cards, and actually do a live chat, back to Zoom then, with the sales representatives of these companies. So the user, the visitor of the expo is in control. It is not like 90% of the webinars where basically the guy organizing the webinar is in control. You just have to listen and to sit in. No, you are in control. You decide what you want to do, what you want to see, and with whom you want to interact. Next, please. Yeah, and talking about interaction, back to VR, for those of you who are not quite sure what it is, it means you put on the headset and you immerse yourself in a new world. Next, please. So you are actually inside that world, and the power of virtual reality really is the feeling of dimension. You are in a different environment. You look around and you see the environment around you. Now, why not collaborate in VR? So why not collaborate like this with your colleagues or with other companies that you want to collaborate with? There's all kinds of ways we can interact here. The avatars really come alive. If they look at you, you really feel like they're looking at you. If they talk, you see their lips moving. You can put 3D models inside that space. People can interact with these 3D models. So basically, we have all the tools we have in the physical world as well. Next, please. With the big difference, of course, that we don't need to travel. We can collaborate with our colleagues in China without having to go there. Now, I hear you thinking, okay, nice virtual reality, but I don't like this avatar thing. I need the physical thing. I want to talk to the real person. Let me show you a short video here.
Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time. Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. That's a time when we need to rely on trusted news sources.
But what you see is someone is talking, someone is looking at the camera and is holding a speech, and with an overlay of an image of President Obama. He looks like President Obama, and he talks like President Obama. If we take a picture of you and we overlay that on an avatar, this is deep fake technology, by the way, for those of you not aware. If we use these overlays in the virtual space as well, you will be talking to the real person. So it will feel even more realistic than the avatar. Next, please.
I think it's pretty amazing, right? To move it from the virtual world to a reality, a real Olaf, talking to myself into the room. So expanding this into the art gallery as well was an interesting concept, Kepe, right? Because everybody's talking about blockchain and NFTs. So tell us more about, can we visit an art gallery, like virtually, but also can we buy it virtually from the same space, right?
Yeah, and maybe using a blockchain, to make it more trustworthy. I just feel, we're already doing a project, with a bank, where they wanted a gallery, where people can visit it as naturally as real as possible. So obviously, as you can clearly see, we use a lot of gamification. So we use those same gamification techniques, to put the model into the gaming engine, and now you can freely walk inside the library. You can turn around, you can go and click on any image, you can get all the details. You can just turn, and you can make that virtual gallery, it can be anything, because you're actually presenting it virtually. You don't need to look like a normal art galleries, which normally we used to have. So I think this is a great, it has a great potential, and plus, as you said, you can go and buy it, and you can even use blockchain to make sure that you can actually see who was the first buyer, how much it was sold to, and you are the sixth buyer who was actually buying it. So it's getting more trustworthy, it is getting more real, and that's what we want.
Excellent, excellent. I guess we have another use case, a very interesting one, the one of the day. Everybody has been asking me offline,
Yeah.
How about this holoportation? So, Olaf,
Yeah.
do you want to tell us a bit more about this one?
Yeah, I think I'll take this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please
So
go
I
ahead.
think let's play a video and then maybe I can explain a little better.
Hi, today we're going to show you an exciting new technology that could fundamentally change the way that people will communicate in the future. Imagine being able to virtually teleport from one space to another in real time. Hey Sergio,
Yes, Ram.
how does it feel like to be holoported?
It feels great to be holoported.
So if Sergio is to wear his HoloLens device, and I'm going to wear mine, we can see each other in full
Wow.
3D in real time. We can interact and communicate as if we're co-present. Sergio, can you walk around my space? Can you walk behind this chair? So we're doing everything to give the impression that Sergio and I are present in the same space. Sergio, let's just do a high five.
You want to explain a little bit more about how that could be used for
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously this is the main desire, after going through that Zoom world, people like to be teleported. And this was a human desire always. Can I be teleported to somewhere else? Yes, technology already exists. Yes, there are some limitations. It is expensive, but this is the future. So what they exactly do is there are cameras around and they can actually scan your bodies. And once they're scanned, they can compose it, and then they need to optimize it and then need to stream it. And the technology already exists. The only challenge right now is that the bandwidth. So we don't have enough bandwidth to take you through there. But I really believe that we are not very far with 5G. That you will be seeing this very soon coming alive. It's please watch out for it.
The Microsoft HoloLens mesh is definitely going to change the way we interact and bring that to a reality as well in front of us. So
yeah, especially with HoloLens, I mean, it makes life much easier because you can see the real world and you can also see the virtual world right there, and you're completely hand-free. You can walk around, so it gives you a very natural feeling. With VR, sometimes you feel restricted, for the boundary, but with HoloLens, I think that what it makes a new. I mean, it really brings a new value to you.
Excellent. Thank you guys. Bringing people together. I think it's the promise of technology for tomorrow. Now let's take a little step into a side project, which is really about onboarding. I know that you guys have been working on a couple of projects to really bring this into a virtual reality. So I guess Olaf, do you wanna take us to a few examples of how we can simplify the onboarding aspect of the work tomorrow and bring that collaborative side of it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. So again, we can make use of different technologies to accomplish that. What I would like to highlight, a few different examples in different levels of complication, starting with something that Walmart did. So people think that using virtual reality technology is very expensive to implement. Can you start the video, please? This is a very basic usage of virtual reality, but a very effective solution. So this is a classic training scenario where the trainer has to explain to a new staff what it's going to be to work on a Black Friday in the Walmart behind the cashier machine. Obviously, there's huge queues of people all lined up, all in a hurry, they all want to buy a lot. It gives a lot of pressure to the staff. Now, doing this in virtual reality gives him the feel that he's actually there. So she can ask him questions because it's projected on the screen as well. So she can see what he sees, but he has that immersive feeling. This is very easy to create. We use a 360 camera, put that on the desk. You just film whatever is happening and put that in the headset, and she can interact with him and ask him questions. Now, that sounds like a traditional training scenario. Maybe it is, but there's one big difference. Because of the immersive character, the emotional response will be involved as well. And that is very important. If you just look at a video or read a book about it, and it's all nice, and then rationally you might know it, but if you go into the real world, it will feel different. And that's the power of virtual reality. Next, please. Yeah, let's go on board of a ship. Next, please. Again, it doesn't need to be that complicated. Using a 360 camera, we created a virtual tour of a ship. People that need to start working on a ship need to go there, need to learn about the equipment, need to learn about the different spaces, need to understand the ship. Getting people on board of a ship is expensive. Often they have to first fly into the country, they have to take a small boat to, it's all kinds of, it is expensive and it is dangerous. It's a dangerous environment, all kinds of safety measures have to be taken. Doing this in virtual reality allows you to already invest time in learning what the ship is all about in a very easy way, and it makes life much easier once you really go on board. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah, this is beautiful usage of virtual reality. Example is launching a lifeboat of a ship, and this is a full simulation. So this means you're actually on board of that ship. You can completely interact with the environment and run through different training scenarios. Now, again, training this in real life is expensive and it's dangerous. Accidents happen even during training sessions. Doing this in virtual reality is therefore a cheap solution, and it's also a very safe solution. People can train as often as they like without any additional costs. Thank you. Next slide, please.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for this, Olaf. So now on to our last part before we jump into the Experience Center. It's really, none of those collaboration is possible only and purely in the virtual world, as you can imagine. What we wanted to show you is, if you wanted to make that real, a few of those equipments that really allow you to create that difference into the experience, again, for the employees or for the customers. Next one we're going to see, I can tell you from my own experience that I've been there, what you're going to see in the video, I've seen it for myself. So although the Microsoft HoloLens mesh is a promise to bring this holoportation, you still need to have a lot of cameras and equipment, but this is happening. What you can also experience and bring the right data into a 3D hologram table, which obviously Silverwings are working with. So do you want to tell us a bit more about this one, Kevin?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, that's the way to, a new way to collaborate. I mean, so I think that the power of this table is that, it can get the huge, I mean, we always have a limitation with HoloLens, in terms of the data, how much you can actually show. So you get limited. But with this table, you can actually load up to 100 GB, a model in a real time, and you will feel, you can see the entire city right on the table, and then you can actually use it for many purposes. People from military sometimes comes to us. People from real estate, you can actually, you don't need to build all those physical model which were, which normally people used to use. You can replace them by digital model. So you can show them the entire workflow on the same table. So definitely, this is a way, people can use it, and you can even use it remotely. Let's say you have 2 tables, one here, one in Australia. You can still collaborate with each other. So I really feel, this has its own value.
Yeah, 100%. Again, I've experienced it myself. We've seen a few models on this table, and the fact that you can, on top of that, connect sensors data to directly a model to tell you how it needs to be fixed will help a lot in the control room. So, thinking about collaborative tool, I spoke about Minority Report earlier, but that's literally delivering that experience right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you go back? Sorry, can you go back 2 slides? Okay, one more. Thank you. Sorry, guys, live.
Yeah. So I'll just, I mean, this is another hardware, this has been existent for a long, long time, VR caves. So the idea is same that, I mean, this system had a limitation that, it was very expensive. But I just feel that, what we have seen, people still want to, discuss, like 4 or 5 people want to discuss the design without wearing a headset. And this solution has become much more cheaper and become much more, easy, affordable. And now, I've seen so many caves in Singapore itself. People still like, 4 or 5 or 6 people like to get immersed, and they want to see the 1:1 scale building or a machinery, and they can take a decision. I really feel it's a great collaborative tool. And right now, it's just still making sense, after so many years, even after, we have a virtual headset there. But still, people like to react in this way, especially all the decision makers. They don't feel like wearing those headsets, heavy headsets. Still. But I just feel, I mean, this is still alive. I must say that.
I'm with you, right? And we still struggle, disinfecting every time, helmet after for COVID-19, health purpose. So that's important to take notice of this.
Yeah.
And another example here as well.
Yeah. So I think it's just a cave, so I spoke about cave. This is just a wall. So sometimes you don't need a full immersion. You can actually, you can interact with the wall itself. So it makes, so especially when you're watching machinery, it doesn't, you don't require maybe, so it becomes much more cheaper and it becomes much more easy for them to use it. And as you can see, it can only use one projector. You can interact with that and it starts making more and more value. So I've seen, I think we visited Advanced Machinery Center where I saw this, so they're also using a wall right now, So it's definitely, gives you much more added value, when you have those digital data with you to visualize.
Excellent. Thanks, Kapil. Thanks for that. I think we are reaching the end of some of those use cases. What we wanted to do today with you guys is to really, show you a glimpse, but also inspire you into some ways that you can think about collaboration of tomorrow for your employees, your customer, or simply by bringing people together by leveraging the right capabilities. And that's what Silverwings is developing. And with the SAP partnership, bring the right data to the system is really an exciting time, I would say, because it's not only about connecting virtually, like we mentioned before, it's interacting with the people and it's collaborate. So it's taking it to the next step. So thank you for those use cases. I know you have much more, but we also have only 1 hour. So one call out that we'll do.
I just like, if I may, the one thing is we love a challenge, and this is just a little bit some use cases that we have done that we think are impressive. But of course, for your business, that might always be specific and say this doesn't work for me. Challenge us. If you are interested, if you think that this might be something for you, but you don't know how, just reach out to us or to Marvin, and we'll have a chat and we'll see if we can help you.
Excellent. And talking about challenge, I mean, you've all seen, right? We've had a little bit of issue with some camera showing at the beginning. That's what we do. We experiment, we try new things, and we, more importantly, we integrate and implement that with the current existing, processes. So for the next stage, what I'd like to do is show you a little bit of, a backstage presentation. So we're going to switch over to a little walk around into the experience center for some of you to see exactly how the space look like, to bring those collaboration, as a reality. So what we'd like to do is we're going to move from this place for the defense backdrop that we have with the video on. Here you go. You can turn around. You can come a bit closer as well. Everybody can hear us. Stay on mute at the moment. So this is the setup that you want to do to collaborate with people, literally, and have the people here helping us delivering this experience. So what we're going to do together, make sure it's unmuted here, is we're going to take you through different parts of the experience center. So here we were in the design thinking. Okay, so the design thinking place is where we also experiment. We have different spaces, but now we are physically here with you, not in the virtual studio. So we're going to go for a little walkthrough the experience center.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, and what we like to do is to close out by saying this is a space where we can co-innovate together. We can show you exactly how those tools could be used to your specific use case. And we have one in particular that we highlighted that we wanted to show you physically where it sits in the center. So please follow us. Okay. Welcome to our Industry 4.0 space. So what I'd like to do is we're really going to make it short but and quick, but it's to really show you the experience that you've seen on video from the end user perspective. So here, Kapil is going to take us through that.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Yeah, Olaf just showed you, the video, and still, the challenge for me is how to show what I'm seeing. When I stand in front of this, it actually tracks my eyes, and now I see, a shoe coming right in my hand. I wish I could show you this, but I cannot. So I would like to request you, if you'd like to see this, what I'm experiencing, you need to come here. So basically, I'm able to visualize it. Plus, all I can do with this is also I can actually, now I can interact with it. So can you see now I can move the shoes around? I can change the colors. So it just gives me that, experience which I never experienced it before. That's what we call, it just simulate the reality. And it, the kind of use cases you can have is definitely you can use it for many, especially for designing purposes. People are, printing a lot of 3D models after designing it. But if you get this kind of a feel, experience in which you can actually see the depth, then you actually don't need to 3D print them. So I think it's a great solution for many things. We're all thinking, what kind of use cases. In case something comes in your mind, please do share with us. Thank you so much.
Okay. Another thing that I wanted to show you here as well on my side, we spoke about the field technician, and we spoke about how important it was to help them on the ground. So here I want to show you the perfect example of literally how we bring that experience down to the field. So imagine you were, you were maintaining a specific equipment, right? And there will be different components to it. You can see in my hand right here, I hold a few of those. Think of it as, pressure, bearings, whatever that is. So I'm going to pick up one, and what you can do in the system, I will connect on my phone. So what you're seeing here is just basically a mirroring of my phone. I'll sign in from my application into my purchasing chatbot. And literally from here, I can decide to take a photo of the equipment. Okay. So here I will say, okay, that's the equipment I need to buy, send it to the system. And what will happen is obviously there will be some machine learning component in the back that is looking after, the similarity with what I just taken, the photo that I just took, and the pieces, the equipment that is available. So you can get obviously more information about the price, about which supplier can deliver it at which price and how many days, and literally based on that interaction, you can decide to order a few. So I say, look, I need to order 3 of those equipments and send the procure request directly to your manager. So by clicking yes, this will go straight into your supplier system, so into Ariba, to make sure, and as you can see here, your requisition has been made successfully. So then they can approve it, but you're sure that you optimize the spend under management. But on the ground, this is how you collaborate. This is how you bring this thing as a reality now. If you do it on a phone, an iPad, using your HoloLens, those are platforms where literally Silverwings can help us, and we bring the right data together at the right time. So thank you very much. We wanted to show you a little bit how the physical space look like. Let's not forget the physical space. What we'd like to share with you now, and for the next step, is obviously how to contact us. So Vanessa will be putting this through. Yes. Okay, so contacting us. Excellent. So please feel free to, we'll share with everybody after this session all of the contact from Olaf, Kapil, and myself. So feel free to connect with us, to check with us, what are your particular use cases that we can help you with. And last but not least, so I'll leave it a little bit for people to take their phone out if you were not on your phone, scan those QR codes. But if you didn't have time, no worries. We'll have time to do it because we'll send you the deck. And last but not least, I would like to ask you, a few questions about, your experience and how do you want to take this further. So in the next slide that we have here, plus another poll question, what I'd like to know from your perspective is, how did you find the session and which areas are you specifically interested with, so that we can do the follow-up with you and inspire you, because, the future is bright. You've seen a few examples of integration of those technology for real purpose for employees and customers. So now is the time for you to tell us exactly where you see that future going and how we can help you better. So from here, I'll let people answer the poll. I'll let people as well, go on the Slido that we've put the QR code and the link here. But I would like to take questions as well. Can you all hear me? So, Elaine, do we have a few questions in the chat? Because I cannot see the question myself.
Thanks for your long attention, please. Thank you very much.
Marvin, yes. So we have a question.
Okay.
2003, we had made a PC for Quest, who does the emulsifier for smell of Cadbury. will the VR also have the smell and touch?
Okay, we couldn't hear you clearly. So what I think we'll do is we will go back into the room. Give us a moment. We're going back into the room. Come with me, Kevin.
Marvin, while we're waiting for you to go back in the room, maybe I should take this just a moment to remind people as well. This Slido, it will stay open for several days. So if you think of something after the meeting as well, or we'll share the recording the next day or two, you could also go here and add, if you have questions, something you'd like to discuss, a deeper conversation, or even potential customers where maybe something you see here can take that engagement to the next level. All of that, just put it in the Slido and we will get back to you afterwards. I hope you can hear me.
The VR also have the smell and touch.
Oh, that's a good one. I like this.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
I'll let you take this one. I have a component to this as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think already, we are hearing about touch and, already the gloves are out, definitely, we call it 4D, 5D, 6D, all these things are getting added. Yes, definitely all these things are already there. Well, the only thing is how you simulate it, when do you need it? So it all depends on the use cases, when you really, sometimes, people don't like to use a controller. They really like to get a feel of things, So, but what we are seeing is that, it all depends on the use cases there, but definitely both the things are already available. We can make use of them.
Correct. And if I can add to this, is actually to your point, Capel, it's really a combination of the right technology. So we work with actually a startup called Rubix as well that work on a mini digital lab. So basically, it's a sensor on steroids. When I say sensors on steroids, it's that it will look at classic things like the temperature, the vibration, the sounds. But sometimes, and where it's taken further, is the analysis of the pollution, the CO2 in the air, for example, or it can go as far as recognizing some smell. So if you were to put lavender smell into the sensor or citrus smell, something that will be acid or so will be a bit more sweet, then it will be able with machine learning to recognize the type of smell. And today, this is something we can integrate, as part of, a few of the digital twin themselves. So the real use case hasn't been made yet. I tell you that technology exists, and I've seen it specifically for those chemical analysis and pollution analysis.
Yeah. I think the more we have spent time in technology, the more I really feel that, technologies are all existing there, but we don't know how to use them properly. So I think that's the collaboration of tomorrow is all about, where we can actually get together and make sure that we find the right way, because technology is just a means to deliver a solution, So I hope, we can all interact in a way that creates value for all of us.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and sorry if I may add to that. I think it's also interesting to see how we came a long way in a couple of decades with these technology. And we know that the smell features and the touch features are available right now. To have them really full body suits, etc., it's still quite expensive to use, but the technology goes so fast. It's like, what is it, 15, 20 years ago, you would pay $20,000 for a virtual reality headset. Now you buy a fantastic headset for about $400. And that with all the different technologies, it is moving in that direction, and it's moving rapidly.
Thank you for that great question. Any other question that you can?
Yes, we have another one. Thanks for the example. They've mentioned solutions are expensive. Can they be more specific and share some numbers, please?
Well, I think, yeah, sure. I already partially gave an answer to that in my previous reply. We are very enthusiastic about the Oculus Quest 2 virtual reality headset, which is about $400 currently. It's standalone. It's fantastic hardware. That's virtual reality. If you look at mixed reality, it's about $4,000 for a HoloLens. We looked at the cave system that Kapil was explaining. These are quite expensive, going from about $250,000 upwards, depending on the size, can go up to 2 million. So these are some prices, but these are hardware prices. And again, it is not about the hardware, it is about the solution. What do you need it for? What do you want to accomplish? And based on that set of requirements, then we can come up with a solution that is also makes sense to you in terms of costs.
Thank you very much.
Maybe we take another 2 questions. Scalability of the solutions. Requirement of needing a headset is limiting. How to overcome this?
Yeah.
It's always, I guess, if you want me to allow me to start, right? I mean, one of the customer journey that we've realized is that whatever the digital twin you have to do, right, the experience is all about as well getting the right data. So for some customer, you're right, you know, it's going to be a challenge to find out, you know, everybody's going to have to wear the helmets. We had connectivity issues, you know, for some mining customer or oil and gas customer. And in that case, you know, I would say one does not fit all. So whether you think about, you know, those hardware as different departments using it for different purpose, you can still, you know, manage a way to combine all those technologies, be it on an iPad, on an iPhone, be it, you know, with the simulated reality, depending on the roles. So I know that we have a customer in pharmaceutical during the production line of all of the different COVID vaccine. They were using those helmets, you know, those HoloLens helmets into every one of their production channel, and their digital, the production floor was digitally in there. So if something was going wrong, they could always access it and then fix it. But they had one for 50 people for every, you know, every factory that they managed, because that was sufficient into their use case. Now you need to look at those, you know, those questions, and that's why when we, you know, when we work on the project, we look at feasibility, scalability, desirability, and all of those different questions to make sure that, you know, you're going to have, I will say, a holistic approach to that digital twin, a holistic approach of that collaboration tools, and it will be a mix of, you know, different components for sure.
Yeah. Let's be honest, you cannot wear a headset for a very long time. So let's be honest about that. You know, we're not saying you need to wear it for the entire training. So, you know, sometimes you require to get immersed to get the feel of things, but that doesn't mean that, you know, you need to be there all the time. So, you know, you really need to mix it up, as you rightly said, you know, you need to mix it up. You know, a lot of teachers do ask us, you know, during the, like, how education, you know, is going to change with VR. But we just tell them, you know, it's another tool which has arrived, and, you know, after teaching it, you can just give them a headset for 5 minutes, and, you know, then they get immersed in that and they learn about it. But that doesn't mean they remain it there for the entire class. You know, the work VR is not going to change, like, you know, that every time everybody is in the headsets. Yes, for some time you need to go there to get immersed, but you need to use it at the right time for right purpose.
Olaf, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Any question?
Also from Manish, can future be in space also? And like Branson, we too can visit moon and experience it.
I think the possibilities are limitless, I would say. You know, I mean, as I said, virtually you can go anywhere now. I mean, now right now, as Olaf explained, we can go with Avatar. Slowly we'll be teleported to those locations. Yeah, I think the possibilities are limitless. You know, but I think it's all about what is the value we create. I mean, are we really having some you know, some real value in this or not? Otherwise, you know, I doubt that, you know, we should be not going that way where it doesn't create any value for us.
That's it. Yeah, the value. And yes, Olaf, please.
Yeah, I think by now we all believe the value of data, and that's where it all starts. You know, everyone is going for data. And now the next question is, what do you do with all the data, and how do you make that available to people? And if I look at the future, I see an option where people are maybe within a decade wearing some kind of mixed reality glasses, small glasses, and they can see everything. All the data is available. They walk the streets, they can see the names of the buildings, the streets, they meet people. They can see when they met these people before, what their names are, what their age is. All that data is already openly available. The only thing is, how can you make it available to the individuals at that moment when they need it? And honestly, I believe that probably 2 decades from now, a lot of us will have some kind of chip in their head. that allows them to access all that augmented reality data without need of any headset.
Elon Musk is working on that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Look, I think we're reaching the end. Do we have any more questions, or is that one more question? We take the last one. Come on.
Where do you see this going? What will these technologies bring us in the next 25 years? Will this have a more radical impact on our lives?
Can I start with this one? I think it's interesting, right? Because the reason why I want to explain, because I've seen an article recently with one person doing a full test and being virtually in the world for 2 weeks. So he's done all his work completely virtually. So for 2 weeks he was, so except for eating from time to time and of course, sleeping whenever he could, but he was trying to spend all of his awake moments into a VR experience, doing his work, exchanging, gaming with his friend, whatever it is. The article psychologically is very interesting to read because we are social animals, so having those tools to help you project yourself somewhere and collaborate is one thing, but I think in the future there's definitely going to be an easier access to those tools. Right today we sometimes limited with the bandwidth, we sometimes limited with the different quality, and we see that going there for a few use cases, but in future it will be part of our life. I hope not for all the time, because some people will still miss the feeling of a book in their hands, whatever it is, but maybe that's our generation. And if you look at the new generation, paper is probably not going to be used for like a book reading purpose. So although it's very tough to say, the way things have been going and implemented with our customers and employees and so on, I think it's great, and we will find ways to cope with psychological barrier. I think that's basically what it's going to come down to, because at the moment it's really at the premise of this big leap. So
yeah, I just feel I just feel whatever we have reached at this level now because we could visualize it, and because those movies, when we used to watch them, they look like, now people come and watch our holo table and they say, wow, this is something I watched in television. So my mind says that, whatever you can visualize, you can actually create. And so the important thing is not about how much we can go in 20 years, it's all about whether we can visualize in the right way and can make, as I already earlier said, can we make value out of this? Do people use this table for some benefit, which lasts for another 10 years for them? That's most crucial. So it's all about now the opportunities are limitless for us. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Olaf, any last word on your side?
Yeah, no, I wonder what the future will bring us, and obviously we are fully into it. And I tend to look a little bit back as well. When I started working, the laptop was a totally new device. It was very special if you had a laptop. Yeah, now I'm an old guy, but it does show a little bit how fast things are moving forward. And I think no one can actually predict the future, but if you see how heavy the big tech companies are investing in these visualization technologies in VR and in AR and in MR, it is quite clear that this is the future.
Thank you very much. Olaf. Maybe give me the high five, give me the virtual high five. Thank you very much, guys, for sharing.
Thank you very much.
For working together as well on making sure we can implement some of those value assets with our customers, because this is the key now. It's unlocking those potential. Thank you for the audience for the question, for supporting the little technical issues we've had. We also experimenting on that side, so really appreciate it. All the question. Call to action is very simple. If you want to know more about one specific aspect for yourself, be it virtually because you're not in Singapore, or if you're in Singapore, you want to come here and experience it from yourself, be in touch. You have our contact detail here. We will share more information about that session in a follow-up email. But really, thank you everybody. Stay safe, more importantly, and let's collaborate even better tomorrow together.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.